Imagine you're standing in front of a door. Behind that door is the life you've always wanted. More money. More freedom. Your own business. The person you want to become. You know what you need to do to open the door. But there's one problem. You don't believe you can actually do it. So you don't try. You walk away. And years later, you wonder, what would have happened if I had believed I could? This is where Napoleon Hill's idea of faith becomes interesting. Hill wasn't simply talking about believing that everything will magically work out. He was talking about something more practical. What happens to your actions when you believe a different future is possible? Welcome to Finding Purpose. Today, we're going to break down one of the most important ideas in Think and Grow Rich, faith. Let me tell you about someone. Let's call him Daniel. Daniel has wanted to start a business for years. He has ideas, watches hundreds of videos, and tells his friends, one day, I'm going to build something big. But every time he gets close to starting, another thought appears. What if nobody buys? What if I fail? What if people laugh at me? What if I'm not good enough? So Daniel waits. 6 months pass. Nothing happens. Another year passes. Still nothing. Daniel doesn't lack ideas or information. His problem is that he doesn't believe the future he's imagining is possible for him. And because he doesn't believe it, he doesn't behave like someone pursuing it. Now imagine another person. Her name is Sarah. Sarah has the same idea. She also doesn't know whether it will work. She's afraid and inexperienced. But she believes something different. I can figure this out. Notice what she isn't saying. She's not saying, I know I'll succeed. She's saying, I believe I can learn what I don't know. That's a very different mindset. So Sarah starts. Her first attempt fails. She changes the offer. Her second attempt fails. She learns more. Her third attempt gets a customer. Now she has evidence. Not evidence that she will become enormously successful, but evidence that she can move forward. That small piece of evidence strengthens her belief, which leads to another action. Another result. More evidence. And the cycle continues. This is where we can understand Hill's idea in a modern way. Faith isn't simply, I want something, therefore the universe must give it to me. A more practical interpretation is this. Your belief influences what you're willing to attempt, how long you continue, and how you interpret failure. If you believe failure proves you're incapable, you'll probably stop. If you believe failure is information, you'll probably adjust. Same failure. Completely different response. Let's try an experiment. Imagine I give you a difficult goal. You have 1 year to achieve it. Before you begin, I tell you, there is almost no chance you'll succeed. How would you work? Would you give it everything? Probably not. Now imagine I tell you, this is difficult, but people have done it before. If you learn, adapt, and persist, you have a real chance. Suddenly your behavior changes. You start looking for solutions. You become more patient. You notice opportunities. You ask better questions. You recover from mistakes faster. The external world didn't suddenly become easier. Your relationship with the problem changed. But there's an important warning. Belief is powerful, but blind belief can be dangerous. You shouldn't believe something simply because you desperately want it to be true. If you're starting a business, belief doesn't replace research. If you're investing, belief doesn't replace risk management. If you're learning a skill, belief doesn't replace practice. Faith should not become an excuse to ignore reality. Instead, believe in the possibility. Test your assumptions. Look at the evidence. Adjust your plan. Keep moving. There's a moment in almost every difficult journey. At the beginning, you have no evidence. You simply have an idea. Then you take the first step. Maybe nothing happens. You take another. Something small works. And suddenly you don't need as much faith, because now you have evidence. That's why belief and action are connected. Sometimes people wait for confidence before they act. But confidence often comes after action. You act. You learn. You improve. You see progress. And then you believe a little more. So here's the question I want you to take away from this lesson. Not, do I believe I will definitely succeed? That's impossible to know. Instead ask, do I believe enough in the possibility of my goal to take the next step? That's a better question. You don't need enough confidence for the entire journey. You only need enough courage for the next step. Tonight, take a piece of paper. Write one goal. Then write, why do I believe this is possible? Write 3 reasons. Then ask, what evidence do I need to create? Maybe you need to learn a skill, talk to customers, build something, or make your first attempt. Then write, tomorrow, I will take this one action. Not 10 actions. 1. Because belief becomes much more useful when it produces behavior. Go back to Daniel, the person who spent years waiting. Imagine that one day he finally starts. His first attempt isn't impressive. Nobody applauds. He doesn't become successful overnight. But something has changed. For the first time, he's no longer just imagining his future. He's interacting with it. He's learning what works and discovering what doesn't. And slowly, the person who once said, I don't think I can, begins saying, maybe I can figure this out. And sometimes, that's where the journey really begins. Faith doesn't mean knowing the future. It means being willing to move toward a future you cannot yet see. You don't need to know that you'll win. You need enough belief to take the next step. This was lesson 2 of Think and Grow Rich, Faith. If you're building something in your life right now, ask yourself, what would I attempt if I genuinely believed I could learn my way through it? Write the answer down. Then take one step. This is finding purpose. Learn deeply. Think clearly. Build your life intentionally. I'll see you in the next lesson.